we're going Viking. Now, I know it don't look Viking. That's because I can't find the appropriate wear. Probably the wife has put something somewhere again. Can't find it. So, thought to go nice and floury. Which is quite apt because we need some flour. But not this sort of flour. We're going to make some Viking flatbreads flavoured with honey and thyme. So again, the Vikings did write things down. We don't have any written recipes for anything, but obviously archaeology has allowed us to determine some of the things that they ate and some of the ingredients that went into some of those things they ate. So this is a semi-authentic flatbread from Viking times, no yeast, okay, and so it's effectively sort of grains that were available and not much else, to be honest. So let's make some Viking flatbread. What I've got here is actually two types of flour, okay. You could use other flours if you wished. So if you get on some barley flour, you could have some barley flour, but what we've got is I've got 100 grams of just wholemeal flour, and I've got 110 grams of rye flour. Making a mess everywhere. Okay, I'll put that in a bowl, and then I've got a teaspoon of salt. In that goes. And what we now add is either whey, which I ain't got any of. You could use sort of yogurt if you wished, or you can use some beer. So I've got about 120 mils of beer. Now you may want some water. Okay, actually before I add that, I'm just going to sort of mix those flours roughly together and mix that salt in. And apart from the flavourings and any potentially extra water, that's all there is to it. So I'm just now going to add that beer, and then we're just going to knead that together to form a nice springy dough. So, as it happens, this is just with the beer. I haven't needed to add any extra water, and so even though obviously we're not letting it rise like it might do with yeast or any other leavening agent, we're now just going to let the dough rest for 30 minutes. Okay, now you don't have to add any flavourings. Like I said, we're going to add some thyme. So I've got a tablespoon of fresh thyme chopped up, and I'm going to add a tablespoon of honey. And now these, you wouldn't traditionally bake these in an oven. You would bake these over a fire on a, like a griddle pan or something like that. So I've got my large frying pan, and at the appropriate time we'll just be heating this up, and we'll be cooking the flatbreads on there. So see you in 30. So that's had a 30-minute rest. Needed a little rest in it. So all I'm going to do is I'm just going to flatten that out a minute so that we can add. I'll get the bloody lid off. Probably get it without me now. Oh, that lid don't. Oh, it goes. We're going to add about a tablespoon of honey. Okay. And we're also going to sprinkle into that, like I say, about a tablespoon of freshly chopped thyme. And now I'm going to get the hands all sticky, because what we're now going to do is we're just going to knead all that together to get it all nice and evenly mixed together. Okay, so it's going to be nice and sticky now. And once I've got that all nicely blended together, what we're going to do then is divide this up into 4 portions. Okay, and I'm just going to then shape them into 4 flatbreads. Now I might need to add a little bit of flour because it's obviously going to be quite sticky now, but I'm just going to get this all nicely blended together. So here we go. I'm now just going to divide this into 4 portions. Okay, trying to get them even, but it doesn't really matter. And then what I'm going to do is I'm just going to flatten them out. Use a little bit of flour just to stop them being too sticky. And then I'm just going to press them out that's about half a centimetre in thickness. Okay, and then I'm just going to put them to one side, just on the floured surface, where we're just going to then let them rest again. Okay, so we're going to give them 20 minutes rest. Now, when we're coming up close to the end of the little rest period, what we're going to do is I'm going to take that frying pan, I'm going to put it on a medium heat, and I'm going to get it nice and hot. Now, traditionally they would have cooked these on some sort of flat pan over the hot coals of the fire. Okay, we're just obviously going to do it in a frying pan. So I've had my pan, I'm just getting nice and hot. These have rested about 20 minutes. So I'm taking these, I'm making sure they're lubricated with flour, and then we're just going to place them into the, or onto rather, not into, the pan, and we're just going to cook them until a nice golden brown, not Gordon brown, golden brown on both sides. And because it is getting on a bit, late one again. Blame the wife again, but then my skål, because we're doing Viking flatbread, which you could eat on your own. You could eat it with some nice butter. Eat it with some nice sort of cream cheese. Perhaps you've had a little bit of salt, a little bit of pepper too. We're going to use this as an accompaniment, or some of these anyway. Wife probably won't eat them. As an accompaniment to a Viking meal that I'm going to cook shortly. So it's just a matter of cooking these through. I'm going to clear this flour up, and then once they're both cooked on one side, flip it over, cook the other side, and then when they're pulled a little bit, we'll have a little taster. So there's our Viking flatbread. So all I'm going to do is I'm going to take a bit of this one, I'm going to break it. It's still quite hot inside, in fact very hot inside. Okay, a little bit doughy, but it was starting to catch, as you can see on the outside. Ooh, hot. We've got that sweetness of that honey, and quite at times quite intense as well. Reminds me a little bit of like crumpet. Don't be dirty minded. I'm talking about the breakfast or tea time sort of bready snack. Okay. I might try it when it's cooled a little bit. It's too hot in a minute and melting too quick. I might try a little bit with a bit of butter on. But there we go. The Viking flatbread, ouch, burning fingers. Viking flatbread flavoured with honey and thyme.